Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another weekly fighting roundup. And in today's video, of course, got the boxing and MMA news. Before we get into it, when this is released, it will be Christmas. So Merry Christmas to all. Hope you're all having a good day. There'll be a couple more videos before the new year. Maybe one definitely, possibly two before the new year. So I suppose I'll do a little thank you then, but for the moment, Merry Christmas to all, and we'll get straight into it. And so, first of all, of course, if you like the video, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it. So, starting off with the boxing news, and I'm going to be starting off with Weller versus Bazinga is verbally agreed for April. Opetaya has vacated his IBF title. He basically got forced to if he was going to fight on the card, which he did end up fighting, and it's a shame, but I'm sure he'll end up winning it back at some point. Tiki Toki versus Richie, Williams versus Batista, Knight versus Wanted, Spartan J versus Fox the G, Raxi versus DTG, Ham versus Not Logan Paul, Raxi versus Rose, and Bunker versus Brook 2 will fight January 20th. Matchroom are set to have a prize fighter card in Japan in either March or April. That's been pushed back, but I'm still very excited for that. Matthews is set to fight Deji. Butler will fight Harris the 24th of February. The first Super Cruiserweight rankings were released. I'm about to say the top 10. So in 10th position, Chevron Clark. 9th position, Kem Jun Kist. 8th position, Andrew Beatty. 7th position, Riyad Merhi. 6th position, Zaksin Zhang. 5th position, Roman Fres. 4th position, Badu Jack. 3rd position, Alexei Egorov. 2nd position, Leon Hearth, and 1st position, Evgeny Tishchenko. Super Cruiserweight rankings, in my opinion, don't really mean anything. It's another world title that I suppose they can put up, but it doesn't really mean anything, like I said, in my opinion. But I suppose it's another weight category now. Lomachenko is set to fight Kambosos Jr. in April. I feel like I've already mentioned this, but I thought I might as well put it in again because it seems to be more and more getting confirmed and all the details getting confirmed every week, and I'm very excited for that fight. Jeffers will fight Brown 20th of January. The IBF will be ordered to fight for the vacant Cruiserweight title, so they'll be ordering Briedis to fight for the vacant IBF Cruiserweight title. Paul is training with Team USA. Cruz is set to fight Samaripa 24th February. Kormatov vs Ford and Lopez vs Abe will fight March 2nd. Garcia is in negotiations with Haney. Will that fight ever end up happening? I don't know. Probably will end up being in Saudi by the way that things are going. Rodriguez has entered the Ring Magazine pound for pound top 10 rankings. The EBU have ordered Gwyn versus Mendy. Joshua versus Wilder has been agreed for a 2-fight deal. Well, I wrote this before the fight ended up happening, but obviously that's out the window now. Charlo has been arrested. Hitchens versus Cattrall. Purse bids are January 2nd. Floyd won via unanimous decision versus Smith. Fletcher won via TK round 3 versus Tao. Huston won via unanimous decision versus Tuhu. Turner won via unanimous decision versus Loga. McIntyre won via unanimous decision versus Mori to become Australian Boxing Federation Super Middleweight Champion. Wallace won via TKO in round 6 versus Ahmadhaji Jr. Banj won via Patel won via I don't actually know how he won by, in my opinion. I don't actually know, I couldn't find out, but Patel won versus Lasisi. Got it wrong. I haven't seen it, haven't had a chance to see it because they've not been around anywhere. But he won, and he's the first, I believe, Indian world champion. I might be wrong, so congratulations to him. I mean, I got my prediction wrong, but yeah, fair play to him. Congratulations to him. Serrano versus Mielnik, and Paul and Walton will fight March 2nd. Taraji will fight Canizales January 23rd. Santiago will fight Nakatani February 24th. Fandora is set to fight Cruz January 27th. Ben will fight Dobson February 3rd. It's interesting to see that Ben's back fighting. He's obviously not allowed to fight in England, so he's fighting in America again. It's against not really another big opponent again, and it's not really a huge fight. It's to keep active, I know, but it's not a huge fight. It doesn't really mean loads. I don't really think he's even going to be really up for it. If he loses this fight, it wouldn't even surprise me, to be honest, because I don't know. I just don't know how much he's up for it, and there's so many other things going on around him at the moment, so I don't know. But I suppose it'd be interesting to see him fight again. Will we ever see him fight an actual big fight ever again? I don't know. Crocker vs Felix, Clark vs McCarthy, Donovan, McComb, Viasoli, and Buttigieg will fight January 27th. Hearn has sent a third offer for Taylor vs Catterall 2. Will that ever get accepted? I doubt it, but Taylor's now got another offer sent to him for that fight. Hrgovic won via TK round 1 vs Demori, so we're about to start going through the Day of Reckoning card. It was the main card of sporting fighting action this weekend, and it's the main one that I'm going to be talking about. And so we'll start off with this Hrgovic KO round 1, TK round 1. Got it wrong, my prediction. I said that Demori would actually win via decision. I thought it would be sloppy. I thought that Demori would be able to scrape it, getting in on the inside, but fair play to Hrgovic. I mean, he didn't. I still don't think the shots he was landing were crazily good. They were powerful, and it was the straight 1-2 and the jab that he likes. And it just looked like Demori was completely out of it, completely outclassed, and just didn't really want to be involved in it. And it was a fight which, on paper, I mean, now you look at it, it's not really. He shouldn't really been allowed in there, to be completely honest, because that wasn't a good performance from him. But either way, he managed to get a win, and Hrgovic moves on now and possibly might be setting up a big fight next year. It seems like he might actually be getting his title fight for the vacant title. It seems like probably the winner, or just in general, whoever wins out of the fight between Fury and Usyk is going to vacate the IBF title and open it up. So then Hrgovic will probably end up fighting Joshua for it. That would not surprise me. It would come in at the earlier point of next year, maybe April, March time. Sanchez won via TK round 7 vs Far to remain WBC Continental American and WBO NABO Heavyweight Champion. Good performance from Sanchez. Far had successes at points, but Sanchez, he's powerful, he's got a good shot selection, he's quite fast-handed, he's definitely going to be a threat in this division, but I just don't know how far he's going to be able to take it. But for the moment, he's looking very good, very dominant, and hopefully he just keeps progressing and putting up against tougher opponents. But yeah, Far, you can tell that he's never going to be another world-ranked opponent. I don't think he's ever going to fight maybe for a higher level than that ever again, in my opinion. But he's fair play to him. Dubois won by TK round 10 versus Miller. That was a very good fight, to be honest, from Dubois. He did what he had to do to get for a very tough opposition in that of Miller. Miller, I mean, I got my prediction wrong for it. I got the Sanchez one right. I thought that Miller would win. I thought he would stop him early. There was certain punches that Dubois was taking, and I was like, fair play to him for taking it. But then there was also certain punches that Miller was taking that I was like, fair play that he was taking them. But Dubois was kind of tired himself out, to be honest. He tired himself out early, but then he really bit down on the gum shield and pushed through when I thought, and it's kind of shown in the past that maybe he's not quitting fights, but maybe he's not been able to dig deep quite as much in fights. But he definitely did, and he really pushed through and showed his class and showed that his speed was there and showed that he could stand and wasn't just going to jab his way around the whole fight. He actually wanted to get the stoppage and wanted to prove a point, and he did that. And so fair play to him. I feel like he probably will end up going to fight Joyce again now. It wouldn't surprise me. But I'm not against that fight. It is a big fight, to be fair. Moving on. Caballero won by TK round 4 versus Makhmudov to become North American Boxing Federation and WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. That was a very good performance from Caballero, to be fair. I got my prediction wrong for that one. I thought Makhmudov would be able to win by stoppage, but defensively there was clear weaknesses. Caballero really showcased them and displayed how to get through them. He showed a good shot variation. He showed that he was willing to stand toe to toe, and it was the first person that was willing to take a shot from Makhmudov and wasn't really fearful of him and pushed him back and showed good changing of levels, really went to the body nicely, and fair play to him. And sometimes you see these type of fighters and you see the scary face and you're like, oh, this is going to really be somebody coming up who's going to be good here, but then sometimes it's just a scary face, and if you can get past that, then you can show that your level's above, and he did that. And it would be interesting to see where Caballero goes from here. It would be interesting to see where everybody goes from here, to be completely honest. That's just what makes this card so good, I suppose, that it just opens up so many different fights, so many different options that you can now see, and Caballero is going to be right there in a bunch of it. And stopping a big and getting a big result there. And yeah, like I say, interesting to see where he goes from there. Moving on, Optaya won by KO in round 1 versus Zorro. Wow, that was very, very impressive. Optaya, the shot was very, very nice, and it's just accuracy, precision, speed. Oh, he's such a good fighter, such a well-rounded fighter, such a destructive fighter, one of the scariest fighters in the world. Pound for pound should be up there in the rankings, and I think if he goes and beats Briadis again or something like that, he probably will end up being up there. And hopefully he keeps getting big fights, hopefully he gets bigger fights than this, and hopefully he actually gets world title fights from now on. But he's just not getting the chances because people just don't really want it from the clear scenes of things. And I mean, I don't blame him from the way he's been just dispatched Zorro there. It's like Zorro, you could tell that there was going to be a gulf in class, but that was levels. And you got to feel bad for Zorro. You kind of see these British fighters get built up, and you think, oh, they're going to be the next big person, but then they do take the shot, and when they stop being protected by the promoter and they actually get into the big fights, then you can see that they're just not there. And I don't think that any kind of level of Zorro, even if it was another 5 years time, could have been Optaya in my opinion. But Optaya, like I say, he is just on a different level, and in my opinion, most definitely the best cruiserweight around at the moment. Moving on, Bivol won by unanimous decision versus Arthur to remain RBO and WBA World Super Light Heavyweight Champion. That was a shutout victory. It was another robotic performance, as everybody's been calling it, from Bivol. It was a performance which was just destructive. Fair play for Arthur to getting through that fight. Bivol, his combinations and his explosiveness and just his stamina was so impressive, and he's gonna, like I say, have difficult fights to be made in the future, but hopefully the next fight is to better be a fight, well, if better be a beat Smith. But it was a very good performance again from him, even though it was against a possible lesser opponent, but he showed levels, and in fights like that you can't be overlooking. You have to be showing levels, you have to be putting on a show, even if you're not stopping them, you have to be showing that you're levels, and he most definitely did that. Parker won via unanimous decision versus Wilder to become WBC International and WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. Fair play to Parker. Parker, he came in with a great game plan. You could tell that he really revised and did his homework, and the whole team did. And congratulations to him. Wilder did look out of it. He did look slower. He did look like he wasn't really that interested. You got to think if his mindset's even there anymore. You got to be questioning that. And now he's had this time off. Does he prefer that lifestyle of having time off? And has he done everything he wants to achieve in boxing? Does he really care about any more fights anymore? And you don't know. But Parker, it was a good performance, a very good performance. He showed what he had to show. He had the clear game plan. He stuck away from any kind of threat of Wilder, and if anything was coming from Wilder, he was either just out of range so he couldn't do it, or right up close in range that nothing was really landing cleanly. And Parker, congratulations to him. Another case of, if you're not scared of the opponent that you're against, you can still win, and you can still win comfortably. And if you're not respecting them too much, then you can really push it and you can really force the victory, even with this underdog mentality which you have to be going into fights with when you're such a big underdog as he was. And congratulations to him. I mean, it shut out the Wilder Joshua fights now. I don't know where Wilder's going to go from this. If he's going to retire, I wouldn't hate it, but I don't know where he's going to go from this. It could be rebuilding. It could just be him retiring now. Joshua won via stoppage in round 5 versus Wallen. It was a great performance from Joshua. It was something a bit different. I got my prediction kind of right. I got the prediction for Wilder wrong. Oh yeah, I got the Optaya one right, Bivol one right, Dubois one wrong, like I said. But yeah, Joshua stoppage round 5. It showed something a bit different, and I liked it. Ben Davison, I think he did good work, to be honest. I was questioning. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a good move or not, but I would have to say it's a good move. It was him showing a bit more. It was him showing that he can box and has a technical boxing ability to his game, whilst also mixing in aggressiveness and showing that he can also throw different punches. He's not just becoming predictable. He's also willing to let his hands go. But I also think Wallen was kind of welcoming that from Joshua. But even if he did take a couple big shots, Joshua from Wallen, he was not deterred and still wanted to come forwards. And that's what you have to do. and he was just too much for Wallin. And where can he go on to? Like I say, it probably will be the Hrgovic fight. And then, I mean, if he wins that and he wins that comfortably, then he probably will set up for the winner of Usyk Fury. And, that's credit to him for being able to rebuild. And everybody was doubting him, performances before this, even I was, to be fair. But now he's brought himself right back in it just from this result alone. And now we've got to have to see how he does against Hrgovic, most likely. And, congratulations to him. He's always had this much pressure on him and he's always delivered, to be fair. Hearn wants Estrada versus Rodriguez, and that's all the boxing news. Moving on to the MMA. No fights this week, but quite a few fights being announced. So Ferguson isn't retiring yet. He's announced that. I don't know when he's ever going to retire, but you'd like to hope soon. Whittaker versus Costa and Gary versus Neal will fight February 17th. EJ will fight Murphy February 10th. Rodriguez will rematch Ortega February 24th. Prochazka versus Rakic. Qatar versus Sterling, and Nickel versus Brundage will fight April 13th. That's the start of the UFC 300 card. It's good to see Prochazka fighting back. I think Rakic is probably a good opponent for him. If you look at the light heavyweight division, you've kind of got the group of Prochazka, Blachowicz, Hill and Pereira at the top. It was Teixeira, but now it's swapped with Pereira, and that's the kind of top four. But then if you look below that, then you've also got the likes of Ankalaev, Walker, Rakic, maybe not Smith anymore, but Roundtree, Uzdemir, people like that. And it's nice to see them breaking in and occasionally getting this chance against these top four fighters. And, Rakic has had the chance versus Blachowicz. Unfortunately for him, he didn't come through, but now he's got another chance. And, it will be interesting to see if he can do it now from a completely different type of fighter in Prochazka. And then Keita fighting Sterling. I think that's going to be an interesting fight. Sterling moving up in weight. I don't know how he's going to deal with it. And then Nickel back, of course, fighting. It's going to be nice to see. And I don't know if that's just the kind of prelims or the start of the prelims. I don't know if that's main event or not. But, everybody's hoping for a big UFC 300 card. And I feel like it's going to be the case. I'd like to hope it's be the case. And then the final bit of news, Blanchfield fight Fioro March 30th. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like if you did, like this, subscribe if you're new. And thanks for watching.